Just sitting down and standing up makes me short of breath. I'm scared that one day I won't be able to do it at all.
That's perfectly fine. Your body hasn't forgotten, it just needs time to remember. The doctor was instructing leg muscle recovery exercises for a male patient over 70 years old. The old man held the doctor's hand and begged him to help him. I will help the old man and everyone with some exercises below. My name is Dr. Noah Jupe, a physiotherapist specializing in movement recovery and health for people over 50, currently practicing in London. Over the past 20 years, I've met hundreds of patients who share the same fear, not the fear of illness, but the fear of losing control over their own bodies. They're not afraid of aging itself. They're afraid of falling, of losing balance, of no longer being able to trust their legs. And deep down, they're afraid that one day their bodies will no longer obey them. I still remember one crisp autumn morning when Mr. Peter Dawson, 72, came to see me for the first time. He was once a construction engineer, the sort of man who spent his life on scaffolds, working high above London's skyline. But that morning, he entered my clinic slowly, shoulders hunched, eyes heavy with worry. "Doctor," he said quietly.
Just sitting down and standing up makes me short of breath. I'm scared that one day I won't be able to do it at all.
I smiled gently.
Peter, your body hasn't failed you because of age. It's simply forgotten how to move, and we're going to teach it again.
The truth is, what Peter was going through happens to so many people. After 50, we naturally lose between 1 and 2% of muscle every year, a process called sarcopenia, or age-related muscle loss. It's one of the main reasons older adults begin to feel weaker, stiffer, and more unstable. When the hips, thighs, and back lose strength, balance falters, and even simple movements like standing up, climbing stairs, or bending over start to feel like challenges. But here's the good news: it's not irreversible. In fact, the body is remarkably adaptable at any age. With the right movement, the right consistency, and the right mindset, strength and stability can be restored. I told Peter that there was one simple exercise that could help him begin. No weights, no fancy equipment, no gym required. It's called the resting squat, or as I like to call it, the natural sitting posture. It's something humans have done for millions of years, squatting close to the ground, back straight, feet flat, weight evenly distributed. In many Asian and African cultures, this posture is still part of daily life. And interestingly, people in those regions tend to have fewer cases of joint degeneration, lower back pain, and balance-related falls compared to the West. When I asked Peter to try it for the first time, he lasted barely 10 seconds. His thighs trembled, his back stiffened, and his breathing quickened. But I reassured him, "That's perfectly fine. Your body hasn't forgotten, it just needs time to remember." It muster in Manselensens. I explained that the resting squat activates all the key muscles at once, the hips, thighs, back, and core like a finely tuned chain of gears working together. It strengthens the body while opening up the hip joints, improving circulation, and helping the nervous system stay balanced and alert. Recent studies from the universities of Birmingham and Cambridge have shown that just 2 to 3 minutes of this posture per day, over 6 to 8 weeks, can increase leg strength by 25–30%, improve balance by nearly 40%, and reduce the risk of falls dramatically in adults over 60. The posture also gently decompresses the spine, easing tension in the lower back, a common source of chronic pain. A few weeks later, Peter returned to my clinic with a spark in his eyes. "Doctor," he said,
"I can stand up more easily now. My knees don't hurt as much. I feel steadier, and I'm not as afraid anymore."
I smiled. "That's because true change doesn't begin in the muscles, Peter. It begins in the mind. You see, what makes us age faster isn't time, it's losing belief in the body's ability to recover. If you're listening to this and you recognize yourself in Peter's story, if your knees ache, your back feels stiff, or you find it hard to balance, then remember, your body can still change. Because health isn't a race, it's a journey, and that journey can begin today. Every great change starts with one small step. For Peter, it was 10 seconds of effort that turned into a habit, then a transformation. For you, it might be taking a deep breath, standing a little taller, or daring to move again after months of hesitation. Your body has an incredible memory. It remembers strength, movement, and balance, even if you've neglected them for years. You just have to remind it, patiently and consistently. So don't wait for the perfect moment. Start where you are, with what you have. Your body is ready. All it needs is a signal from you to begin. In the next part, I'll show you how to practice the resting squat safely and effectively at home, even if you've never exercised before. But for now, if Peter's story reminds you of your own, do me a favor, follow the channel, subscribe, and leave a comment with the number 1 below, and I'll send you a step-by-step guide. Because health isn't a race, it's a journey. And that journey can begin today. When I began teaching Peter the resting squat, he looked at me skeptically. He chuckled. "Dr. Jupe, I'm 72 years old. Do you really think I can sit that low?" I smiled. "I don't think, Peter. I know you can as long as we start the right way." Many of my patients react the same way. They think squatting is only for the young, flexible, and fit. But the truth is the opposite. The people who need this movement the most are those who feel weak, unsteady, or stiff because, as I often tell them, we don't train to prove we're young. We train to remind the body that it's still alive. I explain how the squat works. When we lower our center of gravity, major muscle groups, the glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, and core coordinate to keep us stable. The glutes stabilize the pelvis, the thighs bear the load, and the core supports the spine. This not only strengthens the body but reactivates proprioception, the body's natural awareness of its position in space. That's the key to balance. I told Peter to stand near a wall and keep a chair behind him. "Don't go too low," I said, "just enough to feel your thighs working." He bent his knees slowly, held for 3 seconds, then stood back up. His legs shook, his breath quickened, but his eyes focused. I placed a hand on his shoulder. "Good. Just a few seconds like that each day will start to reprogram your body." I asked him to do this 3 times a day, morning, midday, and before bed, holding for 15 to 20 seconds each time. "We don't need perfection," I reminded him. "We just need consistency." By the 3rd week, Peter walked into my clinic without touching the wall. He grinned. "Doctor, I can hold it for almost a minute now." I nodded. "Excellent. Your body is remembering what it once knew." In his has Protagon number 25. The resting squat is not just physical training, it's a practice in patience and awareness. When we stay low, the mind is forced to face tension, trembling, and discomfort. But as you breathe through it, your body adapts, heart rate slows, breath deepens, the nervous system relaxes. I told Peter that when we squat, blood flow to the lower body increases, delivering oxygen and nutrients. It also gently decompresses the hips and spine, reversing the stiffness from years of sitting in chairs. A 2022 study from King's College London found that people who practice deep squatting for 5 minutes daily over 8 weeks not only gained stronger legs and hips, but also had lower blood pressure and steadier heart rates. That's because the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's rest and restore mechanism, becomes more active. A few weeks later, Peter walked in beaming. "Doctor, I'm not afraid to sit down anymore. I can even tie my shoelaces without holding on to anything." "Visus in French," I smiled. "You see, Peter, the body always knows how to heal as long as you give it a chance." Then I introduced breathing into his practice. When you lower yourself, inhale deeply through your nose, feel your chest and belly expand. As you rise, exhale slowly through your mouth. Breathing controlled his heart rate, reduced muscle tension, and improved balance. "Your breath," I said, "is the bridge between strength and calm. It is Renz and Metabel back to and then in a robbing and B7 and Metabel." After 6 weeks, Peter could hold the position for nearly 3 minutes. But what impressed me most wasn't the number, it was how he looked at himself in the mirror. Confident, calm, alive. "Doctor," he said, "I feel younger. I can sit, stand, and walk for long stretches without pain. But the best part is I'm no longer afraid of my own body." I smiled back. "Peter, that's real strength, not just in your muscles, but in your spirit. It breasts pressable." I realized that many people aren't weak because they don't move. They're weak because they stop believing. Once you start believing you can, your body follows. I encouraged all my patients to follow one simple rule: 1 minute a day. Just 1 minute, squat down, breathe, feel your body. When 1 minute feels easy, do 2, then 3. Before long, you'll find yourself stronger and steadier than you thought possible. 8 weeks later, Peter returned on a bright, sunny morning. He stood tall without touching the chair. "Doctor," he said proudly, "I just squatted down to fix a flower pot in my garden, no hands. I think I've finally done it." I laughed. "You didn't just do it, Peter. You taught your body how to live confidently again." That's what I want everyone to understand. The resting squat isn't a fitness move, it's a way to reconnect with your body, reclaim control, and rediscover freedom. Once Peter mastered the squat, I introduced a few simple exercises to improve flexibility and support the joints. "Our bodies weren't designed to sit still, Peter," I told him. "They were designed to move, but to move wisely. People over 50 don't need heavy workouts or weightlifting. They need smart movement, light, controlled, consistent exercises that restore muscle and reduce joint pain." I showed him what I call the balance trio, 3 small but powerful movements. First was hip circles. I asked him to stand tall, hands on hips, and gently rotate. At first, he wobbled a bit, his hips stiff. "No need to be perfect," I said. "Every circle tells your joints, I'm still moving." Within days, he felt looser, his walk smoother. Second was calf raises. Standing by a wall, he lifted his heels and lowered them slowly. I explained, "This pumps blood from your feet back to your heart, reduces ankle swelling, and sharpens balance." 8. The Beindestruding. Third was the knee to chest stretch. Lying on his back, he pulled one knee toward his chest, then switched. "Feel your body, don't force it," I reminded him. These movements, when combined with the resting squat, created a natural recovery loop. Stronger muscles, looser joints, better circulation. A few weeks later, Peter said, "I can balance without thinking now. I'm not afraid of falling anymore." "Good," I said. "Your body has learned to trust itself again." And flow rate. I explained that with regular practice, the brain also retrains itself. Each time we balance, the nervous system processes hundreds of signals from our eyes, ears, and joints. Over time, these signals sharpen into reflexes. That's why people who squat regularly fall less. To test him, I asked him to stand on one leg for 10 seconds. The first time, he lasted 3. 3 weeks later, he stood for 20, smiling proudly. "I never thought I could do that," he said. "The body never forgets, Peter," I replied. "It just needs a reminder." I also taught him motion mindfulness awareness in movement. When you walk, feel your steps. When you sit, notice your breath. When you stand, sense your hips. Research shows that pairing movement with mindfulness reduces stress, improves focus, and enhances emotional well-being in older adults. When the mind returns to the body, both begin to heal together. One day, Peter said to me, "Doctor, whenever I squat now, I feel peaceful." I nodded. When the body is stable, the mind follows. 6 months after our first session, Peter came back to the clinic walking briskly, shoulders high, voice steady. "Doctor, I just walked along the Thames for nearly 2 hours without stopping. I can't remember the last time I felt this free." I smiled. "Peter, you've done it. You're not just stronger, you've regained trust in yourself. It managard. It is a rallandististro predexter dissolves." Before leaving, he said, "What I've regained isn't just my legs, it's the feeling that I'm still in charge of my life." That, I told him, is the true goal of recovery, not merely being pain-free, but living fully. A few months later, Peter came back again on a bright, sunny morning. He walked firmly, posture tall, eyes glowing. "Dr. Jupe," he said with pride, "this morning I climbed the stairs without using the handrail. I feel genuinely strong again." I laughed. "It's not the stairs that changed, Peter, it's you." The strength he'd built didn't come from exercise alone. It came from consistency, nutrition, and rest. I told him, "The human body is an incredible machine, but to run smoothly, it needs fuel and recovery." I gave him 3 simple principles for lasting health. First, nutrition. After 50, protein absorption decreases, so quality protein is essential. I advised him to eat salmon, eggs, Greek yogurt, beans, and nuts. "Think of each meal as a recovery session," I said. "Protein repairs what exercise builds." That with thing and then the soul of the road back did. I also stressed the importance of healthy fats, olive oil, walnuts, fatty fish to reduce inflammation and protect joints. And of course, vitamin D and morning sunlight to keep bones strong and mood bright. Second, gentle daily movement. "You don't need intensity," I told him. Your body loves consistency more than effort. Each morning, Peter stretched for a few minutes, did his squats, then went for a short walk with his wife. He called it his energy recharge time. Ich heim the Rona Roses is his certainest realm. Third, rest and recovery. When you sleep deeply, I said, your body releases growth hormones that repair muscle and rejuvenate joints. I taught him a bedtime routine, no screens, a cup of herbal tea, and the 4-6-8 breathing technique. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 6, exhale for 8. After a week, he told me, "Doctor, I haven't slept this well in years." I smiled. That's your body thanking you. 3 months later, Peter sent me a photo. He was squatting in his garden, smiling under the sunlight. Underneath, he'd written, "Still standing, still smiling." To me, that was the greatest reward, not just that he had recovered, but that he had rediscovered trust in his own body. I often tell my patients, health isn't a destination, it's a journey of small, consistent steps. You don't need to change everything overnight. Just breathe a little deeper, take a few extra steps, and rest a little better. If Peter's story resonates with you, remember, your body can still change. Whether you're 55, 65, or 75, strength and freedom are still within you, waiting to be awakened. Thank you for listening. I'm Dr. Noah Jupe. If you'd like detailed guidance on the resting squat, nutrition, and long-term recovery for people over 50, follow, subscribe, and leave a comment with number 1 below. And remember, health doesn't come from perfection. It comes from persistence, one day at a time. Because that journey can start today.